In this Killer Instinct 2 tutorial, I'm going to be playing as Fulgore. I'm going to be talking about Killer Instinct 2 in general, but I am going to cover all of Fulgore's moves and his enders, finishers, everything you see here. I've got timestamps below so you can skip to any part that you want. If you want to know more about basic combo structure, autos, manuals, linkers, etc., feel free to check out my previous video. Thanks to everyone who liked that and who asked me to expand on KI2 a bit more and make more tutorials. So thank you for that. I hope you find this video useful. I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching. So the first thing that, well, I should mention the control layout. So in Killer Instinct, punches, there's 3 punches across the top and 3 kicks across the bottom, and then it's quick, medium, and fierce. And then your directions, it's an 8-direction game. You have forward, down, back, and up, and then you have the diagonals. So that's up, forward, up, back, down, back, down, forward. And it's all relative to how you're facing. So right now I'm on the left side, so forward is this way, and if I'm over here, forward is that way. So you'll see that a lot in command list. It'll say when facing right or when on the left. That's what that's talking about. So the most common motion in any fighting game is going to be the quarter circle forward. And that just means starting from down, down, forward to forward. So it's a quarter circle to forward, and that's typically your fireballs. You've got quarter circle back, which would be the reverse of that, down, down, back, back. You have half circle, which is same thing, but it's a half. So if I say half circle forward, that means start here and rotate a half circle to the front. Half circle back this way. Dragon punch motion means forward, down, and then end and down forward. That's your dragon punch from Street Fighter, and that's just pretty much what everybody calls it, or DP. Then we have, in Killer Instinct, you have some back forward, some forward backs, and a few things you have to charge, which just means hold a direction for a second or two. And that's most of it. There also is a thing that's in Killer Instinct. It's a little different, where it's like a quarter circle, but instead of ending in back or forward, you end in down, back, or down, forward. So the actual motion will be, like if I say rotate to down, back, that means down, forward, down, and then end in down, back. And then if I say rotate to down, forward, it just means start here and rotate to down, forward. So that should be most of the motions that I'll be talking about. So let's talk about Fulgore. I had some requests for some more tutorials, and one of the players is a Fulgore player. So let's start with him first, and he was the first in the training selection. So, all right, so Fulgore's special moves: quarter circle forward, any punch. So there's quick punch, it's slow, there's a little faster, and the fierce punch one is the fastest one. You have dragon punch, and that's with quick punch, medium punch, or fierce punch. And I'll go ahead and say right now, sometimes I have a hard time on this one that I built. Sometimes hitting to down back, not so easy, or doing a linker, which is usually half circle and then forward direction. So if I mess up or get frustrated, that's why. So most of the time, I've more recently been playing on this fight pad, which I play overhand, just like this, because it's very reminiscent of how I always played arcade games. That's what I grew up on. Street Fighter 2, I was there when it first came out, so that's what I was introduced to with fighting games, and that's always been my preference, to play on stick. That out of the way, back to the special moves. Also on punches, you have his eye laser, which is rotate to down, back, and you can use medium punch or fierce punch. The difference here is medium punch is always going to be at this range. It's always just close, and then the fierce punch version is going to actually track wherever the opponent is at the time when you execute it. All right. Next is his cyber dash. It's rotate to down, forward, and either medium kick or fierce kick. And it's kind of a range difference there. You see how far the fierce kick one goes versus medium kick. Next up, we have a fake fireball, which is a quarter circle back quick punch. I always really liked this. I wish more games would implement this stuff. I always like fake outs and I like cancels and things like that. So really, I feel like the fight needs to be between the two players, not so much just like this is what you can and can't do in the game, but more of like, look, you got a ton of options. There's lots of counters for everything. What are the two players going to do? And so that's why I kind of like this stuff. So anyway, yeah, quarter circle back quick punch. Then you also have this reflector. It's quarter circle back quick kick, and you can hold quick kick, and it'll just keep on. So anybody throwing fireballs at you, it'll just knock them right back. Let me think if there's any other regular special moves. I know that sounds dumb, but you need meter for a lot of these things. I think that's it. Other than that, you have to pretty much build meter in order to do some of these moves. So a lot of Fulgore's meter moves are going to just take 1 pip. That's what we're calling those, the 2 red dots there. So if he has meter, he can do an eye laser in the air. It's rotate to down back fierce punch, just like this, but you can do it in the air, and you'll see that it takes 1 pip. Another move he has that takes 1 pip of meter is his teleport. It's a backwards dragon punch, and any attack, and depending on what button you press, determines where he's going to end up. So I'm pretty sure punches keep him in front and kicks put him behind, and then depending on the strength determines how close he is. I might not be exact with that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works in this game. So as far as Killer Instinct goes, Killer Instinct 1 is the one that I played the most, and that's the one that I was the most into, and I played all the characters almost equally, not quite, but I really played everybody. KI2 I loved. I played a lot. I didn't like it as much as the first one, so I didn't dig as deep as I did with the first one. So I'm going to know a lot of stuff about KI2, but guaranteed there's people out there who know more stuff than me, so I may not be able to show you everything that's cool in the game. Another special move that requires meter is a cloak. It's a quarter circle back fierce kick, and you'll notice what happens here. Okay, it didn't take any meter to actually activate it, but if I move at all, right? So walking, ducking, jumping, attacking, all of that's going to consume meter and force you to turn back. And as you can see, you can't activate it. Even though it didn't take any meter, you have to at least have some in order to initiate it. So let's see what's next. As far as meter goes, okay, here's another one I'm just remembering. So he has a target lock. So by default, you can only throw 1 fireball, which is different from KI1. In KI1, Fulgore was kind of like MK2 Shang Tsung, where he could throw like 1 skull, 2 skulls, or 3 skulls. Fulgore could do the same thing in the first KI, but not in this one, unless you do this. So it's a half circle. I think it might be half circle. I was going to say quarter circle, but I think it's a half circle forward quick kick. And you see that little blue light flying around. Once you've done that, if you do a half circle forward quick punch, then you get 3 fireballs. And other than that, every character has a super move that requires 6 pips, and most of them are done pretty similarly. Fulgore's is quarter circle back, and I'm just trying to build meter here. Alright, so now I've got 6. It's a quarter circle back and then a half circle forward. So like a Neo Geo Samurai Showdown kind of special move. So quarter circle back, half circle forward, and fierce punch. Now take note though with Fulgore, I always thought this was goofy. The opponent's gonna get back up off the ground and be ready to go before I've even touched the ground. So well, if I can pull it off, That's what I'm talking about sometimes. He's ready to go before I'm even on the ground. But I try to cut the game a little slack because you have to remember, like, the fighting games from the 90s, they pretty much spent a year making them and then just put them out there. And they would do some minor patches, but it's not like games now where, you know, millions of people are hammering on it, sharing all the glitches and things online, and the developers can see it and push a patch out, you know, in a week or a couple of days. So with these games, I try to cut them a little slack when there's something that seems weird, like the hitboxes are off or the recovery's dumb or things like that, because it's like, yeah, these dudes, though they were building an entire game in a year, pumped it out there, really didn't get to go back and tweak any of that stuff. Which would kind of get me on a different topic where I really wish we could have versions of these games where they're pristine the way they were in the arcades, but also updated versions of them where it's like, hey, we understand this move's broken, so now we've updated it and patched it, and maybe even address some of the AI that you had in games like Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, where it's just not humanly possible to do some of the things the computer's doing. Okay, with that little detour out of the way, the next thing that I'll talk about as far as Fulgore's moves, and hopefully I don't miss anything, there'll probably be a couple things, but I want to talk about the enders. So in my previous video I covered how to do combos, so if you're interested in learning the basics there, I recommend you check that out or somebody else's video. But so every character has 5 enders. There's 4 that you can do in any order, and then the 5th one is only available after you've done the other 4. And I covered this a little bit in my previous video, but each ender that you do adds an extra hit. I'm gonna try to say this. I always struggle trying to talk about this because it can sound really confusing, and it's really not. So I have to be very careful how I say this. Basically, the number of hits that the enders do depends on how many enders you've done. Okay, so if I only do 1 ender, it's 1 hit. If I do 2 enders, like 2 different ones, then there'll be 2 hits. And if I go back to the first one that I did, instead of being 1 hit, it'll now be 2 hits. And I'll try to show that. I've been doing this 1 ender over and over again. This is a medium punch, fireball. And you'll notice I'm going to jump in and do this little 3-hit combo before the ender. So when I do the ender, you see it's only 1 hit. So his other enders are a fierce dragon punch, and you'll see it's 2 hits. Now if I went back to that previous one, you see now that the medium punch ender is now 2 hits. A third ender is the fierce punch eye laser. You see it did 3 hits. So if I went back to the other ones, now they're 3 hits. All of these 3 hits, 3 hits. And then his 4th ender is the fierce kick cyber dash. So it'll be 4 hits now. And all of the previous ones, they'll all be 4 hits. His 5th ender is a dragon punch with quick punch. Well, alright, so what you just saw there is this mini ultra, which I'll get into. It's done the exact same way. But here's his 5th ender. So you see 4 eye lasers and then an uppercut. So the mini ultra, so in Killer Instinct there's 2 health bars. You don't have rounds, you have health bars. So there's the green to yellow health bar, which you're seeing right now. That's your first health bar. And then the next one's your red health bar. I think it's orange and red. If the opponent has no health on their first health bar, you can do a mini ultra. It's just a stylish ender. It's 7 hits long. But they have to basically have no health in order for it to work. So I'm going to jump in like I did before with those little 3 hits and do a dragon punch with quick punch, and that's his mini ultra. And you have his eye laser. His fierce eye laser is his juggle. So once the character's up in the air, falling on the ground, boom, you can do that to hit him. And if there's certain conditions that you can set up, but if you do enough hits, you can catch them with the eye laser 5 times. You can't do more than 5. If you do a 6th one, it'll miss. I'll try to show you. well, I'm gonna try. Let's do it like this. 1, 2. Anyway, you can keep it going. It's kind of neat, especially if you do. Yeah, here you go. Let's see. Now you see the 6th one will miss. There you go. Let's see what else. There's also Fulgore's openers. That's what we should talk about. Combo openers. Everybody else in the game has 3 special moves that'll start a combo. Everybody can jump in and start a combo. You just, whatever button you press, you go to the left. So if I jump in with a fierce, I press any medium button. This is all stuff I covered in my other videos, so I won't go into too much detail with that. But everybody has 3 special moves that are openers except for Fulgore. He only has 2. He's got his Cyber Dash, so rotate the down forward kick, and he's got his eye laser, and that's all he can do. That's it. So, and those are also his links when you're in a combo. The medium kick, Cyber Dash, and the medium punch, eye laser. So I guess right now while I'm tapping this out, this is one of the things that I should talk about. In Killer Instinct, there is no this. That's not a thing. I guess it could be if you really just want to do down ones all day, but if you're tapping or freaking out while you're doing combos, that's not really how it should be done. So because there's moves that are automatic, like I pressed 2 buttons, I got 3 hits, and then when you do your ender, you know, you press 1 button and now he's doing multiple hits. So really, you should try to, if you have to do combos like just little pieces at a time, just kind of keep calm with it and piece it together slowly. Don't sort of freak out and do this kind of stuff. Just do your auto and your manual. So those are manuals covered before. You do a fierce and then a medium. It doesn't matter which ones you do. And you can do them after an auto. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm dashing in, auto, and then a manual right after it. And then after that, a link. Which I dropped that combo, but so everybody also has super linkers. So that also requires meter, and it takes 3 bars to do it. It's a 5-hit link in the middle of the combo. It's also one of the things you'll have to do if you want to get the real high ultras. But Fulgore's is rotate. It's a half circle forward, back fierce kick. So I'm gonna start the combo like this, and then I'll attempt to do it. So you saw that 5 hits. So there's that, and there's also he has half circle back forward quick kick. Most of them are like that. They're like a half circle and then a direction. Build some more meter. So you can build meter. You build meter by getting beat up, by having an opponent block your attacks, or by doing slow enders, which you do slow enders by doing the motion twice. So instead of doing a quarter circle forward medium punch, I'm rotating forward twice, and then that's how I'm building 1 bar at a time. Alright, so I'm going to do my dash in, auto, and then I'm going to do half circle back, forward quick kick. So those are his super linkers. Then next up, I'm going to cover his finish moves and his ultra. So there's 2 different types of finish moves. There's the No Mercy. That's one that you can do at any point when the opponent is flashing red, like you see up there. So they have to be on their 2nd health bar, and they have to be in the flashing red. Yeah, the No Mercies you can do just raw, like I'm about to do. This is a half circle forward, back medium punch. Now, what's interesting with that is that's a blockable move. So if I just throwing it out there, the opponent could block it. but you can use it to sort of interrupt something. Like if he's in the middle of trying to throw a fireball on it, boom, busted out, got him. And there's no need, there's no requirements for distance. So I could be standing here, or I could be across the map. It's pretty much going to work. And that's the case with, I think, all of them. And you can also do this in a combo. So if you want to guarantee that it's going to work, provided you input it correctly, you do it as a combo ender. Then there's a second type that's called ultimate, and this one can only be done in a combo. In Fulgore's, it's kind of weird. You have to charge forward for a second, and then it's a half circle forward medium kick. So yeah, that one's only available in a combo. Lastly is ultra combo. Ultra combo is just like a super ender. That's all it is. You literally do one input and then it does all the hits. So I'm gonna do the usual, just jump in medium attack, right, for 3 hits, and then do the ultra, which his ultra is a dragon punch with quick kick. And you'll see I'm not going to touch anything else, but he's going to do all these extra hits. So the ultra portion, that ender basically, is 14 hits by default. So I did 3 hits initially, and then boom, here's 14 more. So we get 17. If you want the ultra itself to be longer, you have to do more enders. So during the fight, if you just do one ender in the fight, you're not gonna get. Let me try to show this. If you do just one ender, your ultra is still gonna be 14 hits. But if you do a second ender, every ender you do after the first one is gonna add 4 more hits to that automated portion of the ultra, I guess is what I'm saying. So if I only do one ender or no enders, it's a 14 hit ender. If I do 2, then it's 4 more, so we're at 18, and then 22, all the way up to 30. So if I've done all 5 enders by the end of this, that eye laser ultra will be 30 hits by itself. So we'll see if we can. So there's 2 enders. What else we got? Boom, boom, boom. There's 3. There's 4, and we'll go ahead and try to get the 5th one. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing. I'm just gonna do 3 hits before the ultra, so it should be 33. So even though I'm doing the exact same ultra that I did a minute ago in training, we've added 16 hits to it just by doing enders. You see how long and drawn out that is? It's crazy. And just like the enders, like the regular enders, the ultra can also be done fast or slow. So if I were to do a dragon punch motion twice and then press quick kick, that would have done a slower ultra, and that would have lingered on much longer. One thing to note about ultras though is that they can be broken if the opponent has, I think it's 6. I don't think they have to have a full like 12 pip bar. I think they just have to have 6. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, if the opponent has meter, then they can actually break the ultra. They have to break it kind of early on, but yeah, it's kind of risky. So if you're just playing to win and finish it, probably don't bother doing that. But I think there's some kind of ultra you can do. I'm trying to remember if it's the slow one or the fast one, but I think it's unbreakable. I think. One other thing you can do, I'll try to do, it doesn't always work for me, but during the ultra you can actually do that super uppercut I was talking about, quarter circle back, half circle forward, fierce punch. You can do that, and instead of him doing that final eye laser hit, instead he'll teleport in front of the opponent and do the super uppercut. And everybody has that, where it's like the final hit's replaced by a 5-hit. Yeah, the combo breakers. I should have thought about that too. Let's see if Saberwolf blocks so much. Okay, let's try it. There's another goofy thing I want to try. See, it didn't come out. I find it to be a little inconsistent. It's probably just me, but yeah, it's quarter circle back, half circle forward. You get a super at the end, so you can add a few more hits. And then there's another cool thing with Fulgore in particular. I'm sure plenty of people figured it out on their own as well, but it is something I found on my own. But it's that you can actually execute multiple ultras with Fulgore. So KI has this thing where you can kind of still get an ender out even if you've done another move. Like if you've uppercutted somebody in the air, like you're in the middle of a combo and you uppercut them but execute the ender really quickly, it'll go ahead and still do the ender. And that got me thinking about Fulgore's teleport that he does after when you do the super in the ultra. And I thought, I wonder if you can actually like input something else. And in fact you can. So you can actually do the ultra, do the super, and it'll when he teleports in front, if you do the ultra again and you time it perfectly, he'll actually go into the ultra again, and you can kind of keep it going. The most I've ever done is 5 in a row. I've yet to beat that, but we'll try to at least get the super. There we go. So you see I did the Dragon Punch right when he teleported, so I only did the ultra twice, but you get the idea. But if you do it right, you can keep that going. And I think, yeah, the combo breaker, I should mention that. So his combo breaker is a Dragon Punch motion, and you're going to press the opposite of whatever the opponent's doing. So if they're doing punches, you need to press kick, and if they're doing kicks, you need to press punch. And it's very difficult with TJ combo because most of his attacks look like punches regardless of which button he's pressing. So I think with that, I've covered, I think, everything with Fulgore and giving you some of the basic fighting game terminology, I guess you'd call it, with quarter circle forward and all that. So I won't have to cover that on the next video. And I thank you for watching.